So I've had a horrible day, and it started with this haircut. So it didn't exactly happen in one day. It actually happened over 24 hours. And it started with this haircut. I told the lady to cut an inch off, and she thought I meant cut it to an inch. After that, I slept on my shoulder wrong. And just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, I cracked my windshield. Now recently I've been trying to be consistent with YouTube, and with all of this happening, I started making excuses for myself. I started making excuses like, my shoulder hurts, so I can't carry the camera in my left arm, so I can't do a vlog because that's the arm that I prefer to hold my camera. Ow. See what I mean? Ha ha ha. Yep, that one hurt. And just like that excuse, I also made the excuse that I couldn't do a vlog because, well, my windshield is broken and I shouldn't be driving my car with my windshield cracked. It's not that bad of a crack, honestly, and even though I have to get it replaced and that kind of sucks, it's not really an excuse to not do videos. And probably the funniest excuse that I came up with was, well, I got a bad haircut, which means I can't be on camera. That sounds really bad now that I say it out loud. Very self-centered. Yeah, I should probably work on that. And so after I started making all those excuses, I soon realized I'm very good at making excuses. And that's not really a good thing that I want to have as a personality trait. And so I kicked myself out of the house and decided I'm not going back until I create a video. And this is kind of what I wanted to talk about. Whether you're creative or not, everybody makes excuses. We all do. I mean, whatever we don't want to do, we find a reason not to do it. It's just our specialty. That's what we do as humans. But one thing that I thought was very interesting was just as easy as it was for me to make excuses not to do something, I then kicked myself out of the house and wouldn't allow myself back in until I made a video and used that as an excuse why I should do something. And that got me thinking, what if we took every negative excuse that kept us from doing things and turned them into positive excuses that pushed us to do things? What would happen? Essentially throwing ourselves straight into the deep end. Now, this isn't to say that all excuses are invalid. There are some excuses that, yeah, have some validity to them, but majority of the excuses that we tell ourselves are just to make us feel comfortable. And if we're always comfortable, we never really accomplish anything. So I'm gonna make it a challenge for everybody watching this video. This week, whether you're watching it when it posts or watching it a year from now or 7,000 years from now, I'm not gonna be alive, but if it's 7,000 years later and you're watching this video, at least once this week, you have to do something that's uncomfortable and you have to ignore all excuses that prevent you from doing it. And hopefully, if we can all become a little uncomfortable, maybe something great will happen this week. And if you feel comfortable enough, go ahead and share down in the comments what you're gonna do this week that's gonna make you uncomfortable, but hopefully push you forward. And it'll serve as kind of a accountability board. You know, if we don't say it to people, then it doesn't really matter if we do it or not. So go ahead and share with us. Be sure to like and subscribe. It really does make a difference. And go get uncomfortable.
Hello?
Hey, so quick question. How good are you at making excuses?
Decent?
Would you say majority of your excuses prevent you from doing things that could benefit you, or do majority of your excuses prevent you from things that you shouldn't do?
I guess it's a little bit of an uneven distribution, because when I think that something wouldn't benefit me, I just flat out say so. So I just decline. With excuses, yeah, it's generally like, oh, I wasn't able to do X, so, but the real reason doesn't seem like it's acceptable enough. That's it. But like, are you asking like excuses in terms of doing things for myself or doing things for other people?
Excuses like, you have a project to do and you make an excuse that, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, or I don't have the shirt I wanted in this video on and it's dirty, so I have to wait until laundry's done, or just excuses like that.
Oh, I used to. Nowadays I don't. But that kind of example of like not having the shirt that I wanted, yeah, that used to be me, with especially being on camera. But nowadays I acknowledge it, that I say that to myself, and then I'm like, yeah, but you gotta do it anyway. So eventually I get to a point where I just do it.
Have you ever put yourself in a situation that you only had one way out, and that way out was doing the thing that you need to do anyway? Like, I guess, burning all the ships kind of mentality?
So that you have no choice but to do the thing?
Correct.
I don't think so. I think that it's just sometimes it happens to be the only thing left to do. Like you kind of stave off something that's kind of difficult to do, so you're just like, I'm gonna do it later, and then you get everything else done, and now you're just stuck with the one thing.
So today I did something, I took my excuses for not making a video, and I basically kicked myself out of the house until I made a video.
Okay. That's a pretty good way of getting yourself to doing something.
It's actually the way that I got my first job ever. When I was super young, I told my mother to drop me off in a shopping strip, and like a little strip, like outdoor mall thing.
Okay.
And it was my first time in the United States, like back in the United States, and so I told her to drop me off and not to pick me up until I had a job. So I went around and just applied everywhere, and that's how I got my first job.
Wow. Okay. I mean, yeah, it does follow the kind of mentality that necessity springs up something, and in that case, you created the situation in which you have a necessity, which is ideally the thought of going back home at some point. So now you're incentivized to do something that initially did not have an immediate incentive. Obviously having a job has an incentive, but you don't really think about that if there's no stakes and you gave yourself stakes.
Yeah.
To me, I guess the closest thing that I have to that is just telling you that we should make one video a week. Where it's like there's a level of accountability where I made the situation that pretty much obligated me to do my part.
Would you say that helped you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Would you say that's making a positive excuse?
Yes.
Kind of.
I suppose you could call it an excuse. I would call it more so stakes, but yeah, sure. That could work. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's definitely made up, because there's no
real consequence to it, really.
Yeah, nothing happens to the state of the world if I don't make a video a week. The people around me aren't necessarily affected, at least in the short term. Like maybe if I succeed at YouTube and something, obviously that'll affect the people around me, but that's not going to happen for any time soon. But since there's this arbitrary stake of I have somebody roped into this, and we both agreed to do a thing that I made up. Okay, well, if he doesn't do it, okay, at least he didn't make it up, but I literally made the whole thing up. So if I don't do it, then what does that say?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I have to call you just to get words of wisdom from the creative God,
Yeah, that's what you should call me from now on. Yeah, when we see each other at the office. Yeah.
If I hype you up too much, they're gonna fire me.
That's not gonna happen. That's just not. And even even if they do, you have like people offering you 2X's. You're good.
I already got chased by a homeless guy today, so that was really interesting.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
You get it on?
No, so it was on my hip. The camera was on my hip when I was like walking down, and like he like chased me off the hill. So yeah, that was pretty interesting.
Huh.
He was just on the bridge. I was like, oh, I'll shoot on the bridge, and then he chased me down. I was like, yep, nope, not shooting on the bridge.
That's Texas. Makes sense.
All right, thanks, man. Ciao.
Yeah.